vibration-proof, soundproof, and they have a special air filtration system. They send all the contaminants below, filter it inside the building, and release it up to the very top with clean air. So unless you were on this floor and able to see all the trains below, you have no idea you were working on top of them. If we have this on the right, we see the short, squat building, these giant X bracings on it. This is a former Mid-America commodity exchange. Now this building was a trade floor. Because it was a trade floor, they did not have any interior columns. If they did, it obstructed the views from the stock traders trying to give hand signals and do their work. So because of that, Dr. Foster Crown invented these giant X bracings that hold up the entire interior and exterior of this building. It is no longer an open floor plan for a trade floor. It's a very nice open floor plan gym. Our directly to our right, this is Gateway Center number 4, designed by James Stefano, 1982, the last of the Gateway Centers. Now this is a fine example of contextualism. So this building has this giant bend in the middle of it. That's the original bend of the Chicago River. It used to bump out just over there before we filled it in with concrete. And you'll also notice these two sizes of kaleidoscopic glass on this building. That's meant to reflect in that greenish color, just like all the little waves that we see on the Chicago River. Directly across from them is this giant mural. That mural is of the entire south branch of the Chicago River. That red dot up there is exactly where we are right now on our tour. We'll get a great view of it as we turn around. But for right now, we're looking furthest to the right. We're going to see the behemoth of the building. This is the former Chicago Post Office. Chicago has the largest post office in the world, and for good reason. We were the mail order capital of the world. We had Marshall Field, we had Montgomery Ward, we had Sears and Roebuck. Through Sears and Roebuck, you could order an entire house. They would ship you the walls, the plumbing, the electrical. All of it would come right out of this building. Now, we are about to pass under a highway right now that, yes, goes through the middle of this building. This was a part of Daniel Burnham's 1909 plan for Chicago. In that plan, he laid out all of the great features that we have today. There all our great park systems, our roadways, our buildings, all of our locations. Now, in that plan, we want to have a major government building with a major roadway running through the middle of it. Now, let's go through the timeline. The plan came out in 1909. Post office completed in 1931. Highways didn't go in until the 50s under the Eisenhower administration. But they knew the highway would always go through this building. So what they did, they constructed this building with a giant gap inside the middle of it, so that way when they were ready to put the highway in, they had the perfect spot to do so. Now this building has been completely vacant since 2006. We just got a buyer for it last summer, and he wants to turn this into a really beautiful space. There'll be great rooftop dining, outdoor exercise facilities, there'll be condos inside of there. Right now they are currently working on removing all of the asbestos that is inside. They say it'll take about $1 million worth of work before they are completed for just the asbestos part. All right, after this bridge, we'll look to our right. You're going to see the new Chicago Post Office. You're going to see this giant glass atrium. Take that in for a second, that glass atrium there. Now this new post office opened in 1996. Old post office wasn't vacant until 2006. It took 10 years to move out of the old post office and be fully operational in this new one. Now like I mentioned, there's that giant glass atrium. That seems a little weird for a post office. People don't typically want to hang out in a post office. It's all back of house. You want to drop off your package, pick up your stamps, and get out of there. Well, the architects behind this building had a unique idea. They said, maybe we can make a little extra money here. If we have a beautiful, beautiful atrium space, maybe we can rent that out for birthdays, bar mitzvahs, wedding receptions, fun things like that. This building has now been opened over 20 years. It has never been rented once. Off the left side of the boat here, we can see a whole lot of nothing on this side. This will be the location of the Chicago line. Now the Chicago line is set to complete in the year 2021. There'll be all sorts of great condos right here along the south branch of the Chicago River in the vibrant South Loop neighborhood. Now, the South Loop really changed through the neighborhood, or the building in front of us on the left. Throughout the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the whole South Loop area was pretty much Skid Row, which is so unfortunate considering its great location so close to downtown, the whole Loop area. So all of this really changed with River City in front of us on the left, designed by Bertrand Goldberg, 1985. Now, Bertrand was hired for the project because this had a very similar problem to Marina City, where there was nothing for you to do after work on the weekends in this area. So they incorporated everything that they would need inside of these buildings. Inside here they have their own shopping, their own restaurants, they have their own marinas, they even have their own preschool, so you don't even have to go drop your kids off somewhere else. Now this was supposed to be part one of a 3-part development. See those giant concrete slabs that end on the side here? There's supposed to be another S shape that went around this side, and a third one that went around the front here. But they figured as soon as they completed this one, that they thought this whole South Loop area was going to explode. This building was completed in 1985, but the whole South Loop area really only exploded in the last 10 years. Now, if you are looking to buy property in Chicago, check out the South Loop. It is one of the hottest neighborhoods right now. All right, if you look directly in front of us on the right, what you're going to see off in the distance there is a giant red and white control tower off that way. That was the original location of Mrs. O'Leary's barn. That is where the Great Chicago Fire started, right over there. Now, one of the great ironies in life, one of the few structures to survive the Great Chicago Fire, was Mrs. O'Leary's house. Their house was south and west, the barn was north and east, the wings blew north and east, and her house remained unscathed while destroying 66% of our city, which was kind of unfortunate for Mrs. O'Leary because it made her and the cow even bigger targets after the Great Chicago Fire. Now, Mrs. O'Leary and the cow were only exonerated of the crime of starting the Great Chicago Fire in the 1990s, long after her and the cow were gone. Now, that location out there where we have that giant control tower, that is the site of the Chicago Fire Department Training Academy, and yes, that was picked on purpose. All right, so right now, I'm going to invite you for photo op number 2. Stand up and look behind you. You're getting an amazing view of the Willis Tower. The Willis Tower is that tall black building with the 2 white antennas up at the very top. The Willis Tower is the tallest building in Chicago, technically the second tallest building in the United States. I'll tell you about it. And yes, this is the Willis Tower, no longer the Sears Tower. I'll also tell you about that too. All right, I'm going to be quiet for a few minutes so you can talk amongst yourself, get some great photos. We're going to turn the boat around so you can get another great view as we turn. Also, this is a great time right now because I'll be quiet for the next couple of minutes. If you want to go downstairs, get yourself a new drink, use the bathroom, whatever you'd like to do. If you have any questions, feel free to come on up to me. I'd be glad to help you out. I love Chicago. I want to make sure you love Chicago too. If you have any questions at all about what to do, where to go, what to eat, anything like that, feel free to ask. I want to help you out. I am your Catholic servant for the next 35 minutes we have left on this tour. I'll pick up the tour once we leave past River City again, so otherwise feel free to talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go take tour. Hả? À.
Có bạn ấy rồi.
Tao để ở廁所啊嘛。